Welcome back, people, to Pillah Sports. We are back and we are going to be giving you the transfer window update. And I think this is episode 3, if I'm not mistaken. And we are going to be starting with Chelsea because a lot of things have happened with Chelsea lately. And that is what we need to talk about. So first things first, we are going to be talking about Morgan Rogers to Chelsea from Aston Villa for £117 million. But the first thing we are going to do is we are going to talk about what he says. What is the things that he has said as he joins and as he signs the deal with Chelsea? He goes on, he says, I'm happy to join the biggest club in London. Now, one thing with that one is that Arsenal fans will beg to differ. Arsenal fans, in fact, at this point, Crystal Palace fans might say, count me in those conversations. However, Arsenal fans, we know for sure, is definitely going to beg to differ based on their stature, based on what they have done lately. Of course, we also know that Arsenal cannot sit in the big boys table because they haven't won the Champions League before. However, they were there in the last time that a Champions League could be won. They were in the finals, and that is absolutely impressive, and they are absolutely in the best position to say we are going to be doing better than Chelsea. However, he goes on to say Chelsea is Chelsea are the biggest club in London, a club I've always admired since I was a kid. Now, I'm not really sure about that, but hey, said it, so we have to absolutely give him credit for that. It's good to see him with Xavi Alonso in that particular person because he is a midfielder. And Xavi Alonso is one of the best people that has ever graced us with his intelligence when it comes to him playing those positions. Xavi Alonso was never a number 10 in terms of an attacking midfielder. He's never someone that would play in the left-hand side going to the right. But he has the ability to just know what the player needs in that particular moment. We saw the way he turned Xhaka, that was kicked out of Arsenal at one point in time, a world-class player in Leverkusen. And if he can do a glimpse of what he did with Xhaka, with Morgan Rogers, we would be seeing a world-class player on our hands because we know he has that talent. We know he's Premier League proven. We know that he has the ability to absolutely take the next step. And Xavi Alonso might just be the person to do it. Morgan Rogers continues in terms of the things that he said. He says, I have had a few conversations with Xavi Alonso. It is important for me to be here, that I need to understand what the manager's like, how he is, and how he wants to operate. It is very much fits the way I see the game. And that is basically, in my mind, the reason why he chose Chelsea. I think it came down to who is the manager and how you were going to play. That, in my mind, is the reason that he chose Chelsea, because we know the way Arteta wants to play. We know the success Arteta has had with his team. However, Arteta is not somebody that is going to give you the clarity that you are going to start. He's not someone that is going to give you the clarity that you're always going to be the number 10. He's not somebody that is going to give you the clarity that this is the way he's going to play, because Arteta himself does not know the way he's going to play until he gets to that point in the week that he's going to make those decisions. So in my mind, I think this makes sense. It makes total sense, because he also then goes on to talk about Cole Palmer, because we are going to be looking at two creative monsters, two head monsters in Cole Palmer on the right hand side and Morgan Rogers on the left hand side, because I'd already made a video about this, talking about Alonso being the person that is going to be playing that whatever 3-2-10s kind of situation we saw Ruben Amorim play at Manchester United. I believe he's going to play that here, and we might see a variation of it. And that variation might be having 2 10s. He's going to have 1 10 that's just going to be behind the striker. And then he's also then going to have, we're also having bombing for wing backs in that situation. So I believe that's going to be he's going to do. But in this particular role, when you look at Cole Palmer, Morgan Rogers talks about Cole Palmer has never texted me much in his life. He's not great on his phone. He has been great on his phone this week. It's really nice for me to know that it means so much to someone else for me to be here. Absolutely. Because if this is another thing that I have to say, Cole Palmer is coming to a position where the rumors around him being at Chelsea has absolutely circulated that, oh, Manchester United is looking for him. He might be looking to be gone from Chelsea, even though he shut it down. But where there is smoke, there is bloody fire. This move here makes it feel this is a move for success. This makes it feel you're putting people around me for us to succeed and win the Premier League. That is what it makes it feel. And in my mind, based on the things that he is saying here, he's also excited about it. And that is the beautiful part about this particular situation. Now, I have to give Ornstein a lot of credit because Dave Ornstein was the one that broke this news. Dave Ornstein also said here, this is about 4 hours ago, he said Morgan Rogers has signed his contract to join Chelsea from Aston Villa for £117 million. The 23-year-old attacker puts pen to paper on a 6 + 1 year deal and links up with Chelsea squad after the preseason tour to Australia and Asia. Highest value deal for the transfer window so far. Now, this is also a key part about his news in this particular one. He has just given us a little bit more detail than we saw with Fabrizio Romano. He says in this situation, Morgan Rogers has signed a 6 + 1 year deal, and if you were watching my when I announced this or broke down and gave you guys my take on this deal going to Chelsea, or Morgan Rogers going to Chelsea, I said this based on the books is basically like £19.2 million. It's brilliant business because when you amortize the situation, he looks like a bargain, and it's not a situation where Aston Villa say you must give me all the money right now in cash. It is not the Elliot Anderson deal. It is not the Rio Ferdinand deal. It's not the Roy Keane kind of deal. You get me? In this particular situation, amortizing this situation to a larger sense is absolutely brilliant in my mind. And Morgan Rogers is going to be, because it's not like as if he's coming to a hugely different in what they call it, expectations. Because Aston Villa expected Champions League football. Chelsea expect Champions League football and also winning trophies. You get me? And so in this particular situation, this might be a step up, even though Chelsea are not in the Champions League and Aston Villa are. So for Aston Villa fans, it might be like you're going to a lower team that finished 10th. But it's Chelsea Football Club. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of history in that situation of them winning trophies. And Xavi Alonso is somebody that you would want to play for. Now let's go into the next video and or the next part of this video, and that is Garnacho to Aston Villa. This is. I've always known that Unai Emery loves a project. He has always loved a reviving project. We have seen it when he was in Sevilla, when he was in Valencia, when he was in Snow. We have seen it now at also Aston Villa, where he took Marcus Rashford. Manchester United were trying to get rid of at that particular time, and also asked Marcus Rashford wanted to leave. Now he's going for Garnacho. This is a player that absolutely nobody wants in Chelsea. Nobody wants Chelsea, and his final days at Manchester United, nobody wanted him at Manchester United too, because of his character, because of the way he came across. Now he is a talented footballer, and every single person and their mother knows that. So if Unai Emery is bringing him in, it has to be incentivized. It has to be a situation where Alejandro Garnacho understand that this is going to make or break his time in the Premier League. If he fails at Aston Villa, that is, if this deal actually goes through, it would be such a career in the Premier League. You start from Manchester United, go to Chelsea. You fail at Chelsea in 1 year, and you go to Aston Villa, and you fail at Aston Villa. That would be absolutely disastrous in my mind. But Fabrizio Romano says today, understand that Aston Villa sent an official bid to Chelsea for Alejandro Garnacho, following exclusive story about initial talks on Friday. Initial loan with buy clause included being discussed as Unai Emery approved Garnacho as a target. Talks ongoing as player side with Aston Villa. Now, I think this guy spoke about it, Dave Ornstein, if I'm not mistaken. Let me actually find it. Okay, this is Dave Ornstein said, and this was, I think Dave Ornstein broke the news. Dave Ornstein says, Aston Villa discussing a deal to sign Alejandro Garnacho from Chelsea. Talks for the 22-year-old winger loan, plus a condition to buy obligation. Okay, that's the key part about this situation. Unai Emery driving Aston Villa move wanted the Argentinian before Chelsea down. unrelated to Rodgers' transfer. So basically what Dave Ornstein is saying in this situation is that Unai Emery has always wanted Garnacho before he even went to Chelsea. He tried to get him from Manchester United and it did not work. He went to Chelsea because we also knew the infamous "I want to go to Chelsea." Bayern Munich came and he said, "I wanted to go to Chelsea," which was crazy talk to me, especially because where Chelsea were at that particular time. Crazy talk. However, now he might just be able to get this deal. And I think it's absolutely brilliant to me because when you look at what they are doing, they're looking at a loan with an obligation to buy. But I believe there's still going to be a clause of how much they will be able to pay to break this obligation. It doesn't make any sense to put an obligation like this, especially because we saw what happened with a loan for Elliot, the Liverpool player, to Aston Villa, where the deal was if he plays 10 games, he would basically have an obligation. And so I wonder what the deal is going to be in this particular situation, because Aston Villa are notorious for that situation. They will get a player just like what happened to Elliot last season. And he never played anything, even though he was happy because he was able to get, he was able to get a Europa League medal from that. But it just doesn't feel right. It just truly doesn't feel right. That's the point in this particular situation. Now let's go into another one, which is Crysencio Summerville. This is one of the craziest things that I have seen so far, because West Ham get relegated this season and are able to sell like as if they did not get relegated, like as if they won the Premier League. That is how much they have been able to sell, because the news coming from Dave Ornstein says Al Hilal reached agreements with West Ham to sign Crysencio Summerville, deal for the 24-year-old West Ham winger worth 80 million euros, and the Netherlands international scheduled to undergo an Al Hilal medical long-term contract ready pending final authorizations. This is insane. It is absolutely insane, because Fabrizio Romano also then corroborates that particular announcement and says Al Hilal and West Ham have agreed on a £55 million fixed fee plus a £10 million add-ons for Crysencio Summerville. Okay, that actually makes sense. That all makes sense. 80 million euros. Al Hilal are waiting for Summerville and camp final green light to proceed with medical test. AS Roma also waiting for final communications from the players' camp. This is absolutely insane. It is insane to me because I understand West Ham is always going to agree on the highest bid. They're always going to agree on the highest bid because that makes sense for them. You get me? It makes sense for them, but does it make sense for Crysencio Summerville? I'm not really sure. It's a little bit debatable in that particular situation because, bro, you're 24 years of age. You just had one of the best World Cup performances for the Netherlands that I've seen in a long time, and you decide that you want to go play in the Saudi Pro League. Don't get me wrong, it is not a bad league to play, but come on, for the love of God, you're 24 years of age. I know it's cash out. I know it's ODCC, rollout, cash up. I know they are literally backing up the Brinks truck to your door for this particular deal. I don't know what the deal is, but I'm sure that that is what is happening. But come on. This is absolutely insane to me. It is to me that it is happening. It is truly insane to me that it is happening. But hey, this is one thing that it's clear for me that I doesn't want to play in the relegation. But I feel like it is something that you can absolutely just figure out a way to get this done without you going over to Saudi Pro League, where nobody will be able to talk about you in a long time. You get me? Until you come back to the international stage before we'll be able to talk about you. And then this is another shocking move that I absolutely did not see this coming. It is Bournemouth closing in on a deal to sign Antonio Silva. Here we go is coming soon. That is what was reported by Fabrizio Romano. Now, I don't think it was reported by Dave Ornstein, so I don't know if Dave Ornstein has corroborated that particular situation. However, that is absolutely insane to me. Is Fabrizio Romano goes on to say agreement on personal terms with the centre-back and very close to also club to club with Benfica. Nothing will be signed week as Benfica will allow exit to Bournemouth soon. This is absolutely insane because Antonio Silva is one of the best young defenders that we have seen in Europe in a long time. This is someone that we were comparing to Pau Cubarsí. That's what we were comparing to Pau Cubarsí, that just won best young player of the tournament, the World Cup tournament. That was who at one point in time. Don't get me wrong, he's still a talented footballer. Still a talented footballer, still somebody to Benfica's unbeaten run last season. Unbeaten run, but they did not qualify, or they did not win the league, the Portuguese league. So it is crazy to think that Benfica is negotiating for him to join Bournemouth. And this is no disrespect to Bournemouth, because they are a really good side when it comes to getting players into this situation. However, in my mind, a bigger team should be coming for Antonio Silva. Manchester United should be coming for Antonio Silva. He is someone that would absolutely do us good, especially for the fact that Matheus de Ligt has a problem with his injuries. Lisandro Martinez got taken off in the Champions League World Cup final because of an injury. Have injury prone. However, the question in this particular situation might be, okay, we do not want to have or stockpile a lot of young defenders. But the truth about this situation is, I was listening to Sir Alex's autobiography, and he was talking about his idea of just stockpiling young players, stockpiling players that you never know when they're going to leave. This is somebody that would come into Manchester United, literally be on the bench, coming in left and right, here and there for Manchester United. And then we can discuss the likes of De Ligt leaving next year. We can discuss the likes of Lisandro Martinez taking a back role or a lesser role next year because of the injuries that he has. And the funny thing about this situation is that Manchester United have a lot of wiggle room, because we are playing the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, the the Champions League. We are going to be playing all these games, and we need the football. We need the players. We need the bodies, especially because of what we saw in the final of the World Cup. Now, this is absolutely a shocker to me, which is crazy because I never saw that coming, but I absolutely needed to bring it to your attention so you guys can absolutely hear it. Another thing that is going to be something that we need to absolutely pay attention to is Alex Scott and his camp informed Bournemouth about his decision to turn down the second proposal over a new deal. Bournemouth insists to keep the player and open to include a release clause into a new contract, but no agreement yet. Premier League top clubs are attentive. Now, this particular, it's quite a very, very intriguing situation, because when you the player, Scott is a baller. We know that Alex Scott is a baller, but in my mind, Alex Scott is a box-to-box baller. He's a box-to-box player. Ability is second to none. His high ceilings is there. But what Manchester United need in a player, in a midfielder right now, to me, is someone that can literally cover a yard, can cover a large chunk of space, can cover a lot of things. You get me? Man United have also spoke about the move for Zaire Emery. We have heard a little bit of rumblings about Zaire Emery and Manchester United looking to bring him in. Let me even confirm it just so I can give you guys the exact situation. Let me get that up, so bear with me a little. Yes, so this is the crazy part about Zaire Emery. And this is breaking by United Stand, or let me say Men's News Desk, that they broke the news. Say breaking, Man United are reportedly up a €60 million bid, which is £51 million offer for the Paris Saint-Germain Warren Zaire Emery. Old Trafford Chiefs first considered a move for the midfielder back in 2023 when he was just 17, and it looks as tough. It looks as though he could be targeted as their third midfielder signing this summer. Don't get me wrong, Zaire Emery is a talented footballer. He is a talented footballer, and it truly is. We have seen him play for Chelsea, or for Paris Saint-Germain, sorry. I understand that Zaire Emery is not somebody that dominates the headlines, because you have Fabian Ruiz that has just completed football in one season, winning everything in France and also going on to win the World Cup. We know Vitinha is one of the best midfielders in the world, even though he had such a torrid time in the World Cup. We know João Neves is one of the best also in the World Cup. or not in the World Cup, but in the world of football when it comes to midfield. So he never gets the opportunities to play as much as he wants to play. However, last season he did play a lot of football. That's the crazy thing about it. He did play a lot of football. And so that's one thing that we absolutely need to know about this particular situation. So these are things that we also need to basically make it as fast as possible. You guys absolutely know in this particular situation. Tyan Thompson moved from Spurs is official. Manchester United signed him for £8 million. So that is 4 upfront and 4 add-ons, which was confirmed. I don't really know the player as much as possible, so I'm not going to go depth into what he is. But based on the things that I've seen so far, he is a very tricky winger. He's somebody that loves to hog the line, has the ability to go over the bar to the bar line and cut in and also do some magic in that situation. He's that kind of player that likes to touch the ball multiple times, has the ability to roll the ball with his studs, and I think that's brilliant. And like I said, this was me just watching him from the compilations that are there for him that he has played so far in the Spurs Academy. So I have to give him I have to believe also in the recruitments that so far, because we have seen Christian Orozco, we have seen Diego Leon, we have seen Kone come in, we have seen Sonny Lemons, we have also seen Patrick Dogu, and 2 of those many been successful so far, and the rest are also just coming down the line. Now, Tyan Thompson, based on what we have heard, is not one for going to be sitting in the academy for a long time. They signed him based on the money because he already has a pro contract, and that's the reason why we had to pay £8 million for his services. They have signed him for the first team. They have told him and assumed that he's going to have a path to the first team, just like Aiden Heaven had. And so that is a good situation for me, because I think Manchester United do need players like this. The second thing is Cardallo has also arrived from Leeds as backup to Sene Lamens, and I think that's also a good thing, because we are going to be expecting what's his name, the goalkeeper that was playing for Bristol City, if I'm not mistaken, to leave, Vitek. We're going to be expecting Vitek to leave. He has also made, when he spoke about his ambition to start this season after loss to Wrexham in the preseason game, he has also made that clear for us to know. So we absolutely understand that. So he definitely is going to be going. That is clear for me. So bringing Cardallo is somebody that absolutely has the effrontery and has the understanding of being a number 1 with Leeds, and he's coming to be the number 2 behind Sene Lamens. And the next thing is Newcastle. Lewis Hall is still the dream left back option, but Newcastle won't sell, and Everton's Iliman Njai, another Senegalese international, is on the recruitment team's watch list too. So that's one thing that we're absolutely still keeping an eye on, and that's something for Manchester United for you guys to also understand. Right now, we're also talking about Xerxes is stuck behind Zeshko, is expected to head back to Italy before the window shuts, and Osimhen remains what? That's crazy. I don't even know what we're talking about in that situation. I don't know where Team Talk is getting that situation. Apparently, they're saying Osimhen is a dream number 9 for Manchester United, but I don't believe that that's the case. Osimhen would be too expensive, because Galatasaray will be for roughly around £130 million, and Manchester United is not paying that amount of money for anybody right now. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments. You guys hit that like button, hit that follow button, and do not miss out on anything that we do here on Pillah Sports. So hit that like button. Nathan Salt also said something that actually makes sense to me, and I want to just cover this before we go on. It is Michael Carrick wants Manchester United to play with greater control next season, so they can dominate matches and not rely on in transition. This absolutely makes sense. This has been something that the likes of what's his name, the footballing director Jason Wilcox have always wanted us to play under Erik ten Hag. He told Erik ten Hag, I want you to play more possession football rather than transitional football. Erik ten Hag couldn't do it, and what we saw Erik ten Hag leave Manchester United. The other reasons of him being really bad at just adapting to what he needs or what Manchester United needs. And then we saw Ruben Amorim at one point talk about him trying to get the boys to play more possession, and that was definitely from the instruction from Jason Wilcox, and it did not work out. But that was not the reason why they fired Ruben Amorim. However, that's a different topic, and now this is going to be the third time. Hopefully the third time is the charm, where Michael Carrick, being that he is one that understands the ability to dominate possession, understands the ability and the huge impact of control. We saw it against Argentina and Spain. By Spain was so dominant, it was that Argentina could not get the ball. They could not do anything. And the key part about that situation is that they absolutely passed you out the park. But the moment you get the ball back, they are on your neck to get the ball back from you. That is the beauty of this situation. Like I said in the start of this video, I've been listening to reading Sir Alex Ferguson's autobiography, and he spoke about Barcelona and their ability to pass, overload the midfield. He said something about if you had 4 midfielders, they would put 5. If you had 5, they would put 6. If you had 6, they would go as far as to put 7. That is what they did. And the beauty about he said something about they made it a what they call it, a roller coaster for you, in that literally turns your eyes. So the moment you get the ball, it's still absolutely, you are so discombobulated on what to do with it that they absolutely pounce and get the ball back. He literally said that was the difference between Barcelona and Arsenal, because Arsenal would pass the ball but would not pounce the moment they lose the ball, so to regain it. But Barcelona, the best Barcelona side under Pep Guardiola, did that, and that was what was working for them. And I think that is what Michael Carrick should be looking to do. I don't know if he's going to couple the dominance and control with being, the moment you lose the ball, try and get it back within 5 seconds to 10 seconds. I hope that is the case, because that is you just putting Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp in one, and you would absolutely get a dominant football team if you can do that in that particular one. But let me know what you guys think about this. This video has gotten very long, so you guys bear with me. Hopefully you can get to this point of the video, and if you got to this point of the video, make sure you guys absolutely comment that you got to this point of the video, and make sure you guys reference the red dot right there, because I want to make sure this point, and hopefully you guys are absolutely locked in, because this season is getting on the way, and we are going to be with you over and over and over every single time. So let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments. Make sure you guys hit that like button, and if you haven't hit the like button and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, because that tells YouTube that you love what we do here, and it does help us grow, and it does help the channel tremendously, more than you would know. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.